On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Diotima by Krallice for
Black Metal January.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
With emphasis on hell, because black metal.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to play the Top Gear theme.
Gotcha. Top Gear theme. Good.
Yeah, the
Good
Top
choice.
Gear theme.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm Owen.
And like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the album from Krallice called Diotima.
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 Diatoma?
Diatoma. Do you know what it means? What does the word
mean?
I
feel bad because I looked it up and now I can't remember what it is.
Something to do with God, because Dio, so I don't know.
Or something too, diatomic. Something that is diatomic is...
Maybe the Dio part actually is a tribute to Ronnie James Dio.
Could be.
Lead singer of Dio.
Dio and Rainbow and
Black Sabbath. Good Lord. How do two metalheads get in a room and not remember Black Sabbath?
I'm sorry, what's that? What's Black Sabbath?
So yeah, we're going to be talking about Krallice a little bit later. First though, just stuff that's been going on. Something interesting that I found out after we got done recording last week after the episode came out.
Okay.
We were talking about Mayhem. We were talking a lot about the early history of Mayhem, even though I promised that we wouldn't do that.
And then we're going to continue doing it the following week.
We're gonna do a deep dive. This is actually part 2. Surprise, motherfucker. No, I found out that there's actually a movie coming out based on that period of time in the early black metal scene, specifically based on the life of Euronymous, or I guess the end of Euronymous' life. It's called Lords of Chaos. It's based on a book that came out, I believe, in 1998, and it stars Rory Culkin.
Rory Culkin?
I should actually look it up.
Macaulay's little brother, Rory Culkin.
Yes, Macaulay Culkin's younger brother. Lords of Chaos
and
film.
One of the Skarsgård brothers is in it as well.
Yeah, one of the Skarsgård brothers. So Rory Culkin is Euronymous. An actor named Emery Cohen is playing Varg Vikernes. He's not a name that I recognize. The next one down that I recognize is Walter Skarsgård, who is playing Faust from Emperor.
Oh, right, from Emperor.
He's playing Faust from Emperor. So yeah, it's just about sort of the period of the few years after Mayhem started and leading up until Euronymous is killed by Varg. And there's already been... There has already been, I mean, ever since the movie was announced, there's been backlash from Varg himself.
Well, yeah.
Of course, he does not like the assertion that he didn't stab him 22 times in self-defense.
He doesn't like the self-defense part. That is what he has a hard time with, right?
He doesn't like the fact that the movie asserts that it was murder, or I assume the movie asserts that it was murder.
Right, exactly.
You know how like the court of law did as well, and public opinion, generally speaking, has asserted that it was murder, but
he wanted the argument in there that it was self-defense.
Yeah, because Varg has an active YouTube channel, so he made a video regarding the Lords of Chaos movie. I didn't watch it because I don't care to hear him talk about anything. I might honestly listen to Burzum at some point just to hear it, because I know a lot of people actually like Burzum. What I was saying about the movie is the director actually is Jonas Åkerlund, who has directed music videos and whatnot previously. He's Swedish, so he's kind of in there. He was in Bathory. He was a member of Bathory from 1983 to 1984. It was very briefly. I think he very quickly got into directing. He directed a video for Candlemass.
Oh,
he's
man.
directed videos for Metallica.
I want to know which Candlemass video it was.
I don't know.
There's some good ones.
Because he's directed for Metallica, Christina Aguilera, U2, Blink-182, Pink, Rammstein, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Smashing Pumpkins. Like he's
got some videos under his belt.
This guy has got a lot of music videos under his belt, and like I really enjoy the fact that a movie about Mayhem is being directed by a guy that was in that scene, is from that area, knows the music, knows music in general, knows how to make video about music. Like,
right. And knows Christina Aguilera.
And he has met Christina Aguilera.
Right.
Like, that's how do you link Euronymous to Christina Aguilera? Well, couple of steps.
And then Kevin Bacon. Thank you.
And then Kevin
Curtin.
Bacon
There you
somewhere in there. How do you link Euronymous to Kevin Bacon? That's how, because I'm sure Christina Aguilera.
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 No, she's Swedish.
The Wrath of Aguilera. Segue. After I said Wrath of Aguilera something, we were talking about this morning. I rewatched Grizzly Man last night.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Because I need to watch more Werner Herzog movies. I feel like I've talked about Grizzly Man on this podcast before in a Jaren episode. I'm pretty sure I've talked about Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I like Werner Herzog a lot. I just like hearing him talk because he has such a distinct voice.
Very distinct.
And he's always very precise in his wording.
And his pronunciation, very precise.
His views on nature, I find them interesting. I think Werner Herzog is, he's a fairly metal guy. Like he's just kind of a brutal person.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell like in Grizzly Man, he's rooting for the bear, right?
Not necessarily. I think he had some amount of respect for Timothy Treadwell.
Sure.
But he also, I think, is unsurprised at what happened. Because if you haven't seen Grizzly Man, I recommend watching it. If you don't know the story of Timothy Treadwell, then maybe watch that if you don't know who he was. Because it's a documentary. It's not a movie. It's a documentary based on a man named Timothy Treadwell who lived with bears for 13 years.
And he died the way he lived.
He lived inside of a bear? I don't think you live being eaten by a bear.
Well, no, but that's how he died.
But yeah, I think I like listening to Werner Herzog talk.
Oh, yeah.
He's got very interesting views on the world, and it's just this sort of depressing sounding old German man. I'd love to watch some of his early work, like he when he was talking about nature, because he has a lot of his stuff is in the sort of the writing concept of man versus nature. That is the vast majority of his work falls under that, or his early work at least. And he filmed a movie I believe in the 80s in Peru called Aguirre, The Wrath of God, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
the Wrath of Aguilera. Yeah.
Yeah, The Wrath of Aguilera.
Yeah.
The Wrath of Christina. And it took him a long time to film it, and they were in the jungles in Peru, and apparently there was a flight that he was going to get on that he narrowly missed. Like, he narrowly missed the flight. He didn't get on for whatever reason. He had to reschedule.
Right.
That plane crashed over the jungle in the Andes Mountain, and there was one survivor of a young girl who fell out of the plane in her seat. I don't know how many feet they say she probably fell into the jungle.
Was not unscathed.
Far from it. I think she, had several broken bones. I think she was very young at the time too, and she managed to wander her way through the woods until she found like a fisherman's hut and stayed there until someone came and showed up.
Which sounds like a movie in itself.
And Werner Herzog, because of his experience of like, oh shit, I almost got on that flight. He made a documentary in 1999, I think, about her and about her survival and about sort of how he almost did that, and it's something that kind of haunted him for a long time. So, yeah, this is a bit about Werner Herzog. Normally, I thought normally we'd do the movie bit at the end, but I like this idea of me or one of us or both of us bringing a movie every week just to talk about for a little bit.
That'd be great.
Because we both like movies, so.
Movies and music. And
movies, music, that sort of thing.
Video games. We always have a
video games. Yeah, we can always talk about that. One thing that I did want to talk about that I was watching just before you came, I was watching clips from Big Fat Quiz.
Oh, sure.
Which is a British program hosted by Jimmy Carr. And I love watching that. People put full episodes up on YouTube, probably because of some sort of copyright thing where it's you upload in the US and it's fine or something like that.
Sure, it's not in Britain. They probably can't upload. They couldn't get away with it.
Normally the BBC is kind of strict about that sort of thing, but it seems to be fine for this. So I watch that every once in a while because I love, especially when it's an episode with Richard Iwata and Noel Fielding on one team.
Of course.
And as long as David Mitchell is there too. David Mitchell could be paired with anybody else.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If those three are in an episode, good God,
It's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be hilarious. So yeah, I really enjoy watching those. It's a lot of fun. So, speaking of something else I enjoyed, I enjoyed the album that we're talking about.
Yeah, so did I.
It's good stuff. So we both listened to Diotima. Diotima. Mio Dio, Dio mio.
They're not Italian.
Mamma mia, Diotima.
That's a spicy black metal album. Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed this very much. I hadn't heard it before. You had brought it up last week.
This is new to me too, for the most part. Krallice is a band that I've heard about for a while, but that I just decided, this is a new band that I've been interested in.
Well, they're not new.
Not new, but I mean they're a new in the scope of the black metal community. They're a fairly new band,
right?
And as far as black metal bands that are newer and popular, or at the very least well regarded. They're fairly new. They were founded in 2008. Krallice was founded in 2008 by musicians Colin Marston and Mick Barr. These two guys, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was looking on Wikipedia. The list of things they have been involved in.
It's a chunk.
Is staggering. So I'm going to start with Mick Barr. So Mick Barr, I believe, is the... he does vocals and guitar. So all the vocals you hear, which is there's a wide range of different styles of vocals that are used on this album. So Mick Barr has been in a shitload of different projects. Most of them are like solo. He's got an entire page of just solo releases on his Wikipedia page. Like an entire screen full of just solo releases. And then he's been in a band called Orthrealm, something like that. I can't tell if that's an L or an I. Band called Kromtech, Mindels, but mine something blasting.
Sure.
MNDLSBLSTNG.
It's an acronym.
It's an acronym for something. A band called Masanek, project called Old. It goes on and on and on. Dude has done a lot of stuff. Colin Marston. His is a bit more impressive, to be honest.
Wow.
Colin Marston is in 4 active bands, not side projects. He's in 4 active touring bands right now. The biggest name on that list is Gorguts.
Sure.
He's been on the last 2 Gorguts releases. Ever since they got back together, he's been a part of the lineup with them. He's in another band called Dysrhythmia, which is a progressive metal band. Then there is Behold the Arctopus, which is, talking about this earlier today, it's just it's a wonderful
if you look
phrase.
At the origins of the words themselves.
Yeah, we started talking about
etymology.
That because an arctopus is a type of flowering plant that they call a barefoot.
Like
arcto being Greek for bear, puss being foot. Which is interesting because Puss in Boots could be taken to mean as a foot in boots. But behold the Arctopus. So I guess look at this flower. That's what that means.
Behold.
Look at this barefoot.
The barefoot.
Look at my bare feet.
Yeah.
And that's a really weird avant-garde metal band. He plays a 12-string in that band, a 12-string electric guitar. And then he's got Krallice, which is his I'm not even sure if Krallice is his primary band. I don't think there is really like this is my main band and these are my side projects.
He just does a lot of stuff.
I think he just does all of these equally. He's also an extremely prolific producer. He's been producing since 2004. The list is just insane. There's a band called Panopticon, which I have not listened to, but he produced their most recent album. Some others, he produces all of Krallice's stuff himself. He produces Dysrhythmia and Behold the Arctopus stuff himself, as well as a lot of Mick Barr's side projects and whatnot. He produces a lot of. So these guys are so friggin' busy.
Busy.
I have no idea how they have time to write material that is like this good.
Right, yeah.
Material that is this dense and complex.
It is very dense and very complex.
And like
Those are good words.
The thing that astounds me, before we get into the album, the thing that astounds me about these two as well is, like I said, they are writing dense and complex material, and especially in the case of Colin Marston, all of the bands he's in are playing that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Different styles, you've got your weird avant-garde experimental stuff, you've just got more prog, and then you've got like avant-garde, progressive, technical, death metal, whatever you want to call Gorguts. Although I think Luke LeMay is probably the primary songwriter for Gorguts, but you're still in Gorguts. That's got to be pretty taxing on the musical brain. And then he's got Krallice, and
he's probably not doing anything else. He's probably not. He doesn't have a side job working at a laundry somewhere.
Well, I mean, he's producing. He's got time to produce.
Well, he's doing that too. But that's in the music industry. I mean, he's not mowing lawns.
These are busy guys. When people ask, like, how do you make a living playing that sort of music? It's like, this is how.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is how. You do everything all the time for everyone. It is mind-boggling. So let's get into the album a little bit. Diotima is a black metal album.
Definitely black. They're from New York.
Yep, they're a New York black metal band. That's not really a black metal scene, but they're an American black metal band. Their early work was inspired by bands like Gorgoroth and Burzum and just sort of classic black metal bands. But they've sort of progressed past that. They still play black metal. This is one of the earlier albums that we're listening to, or that we did listen to. They still play black metal, but they've sort of progressed past their influences and matured like any band does.
Sure.
They've also gone a bit higher fi in their most recent couple of releases, although this one, I'd call it low-fi, but there's something I wanted to discuss tonight.
Right. It's not, I wouldn't call it lo-fi, and not necessarily It's not like somebody just stuck their Walkman next to a speaker and then recorded it. Walkman.
What I wanted to discuss tonight was the difference between, to you, what is the difference when you're listening to music between something that sounds raw and something that sounds lo-fi? Yeah. Or are they interchangeable for you?
They're not interchangeable. It's something that is, say, a lot of when you would say something is lo-fi means they didn't have high production value. They didn't maybe they didn't have the equipment. They didn't have the recording prowess. They didn't have the right engineer. A lot of it was just kind of thrown together. Stuff that is not necessarily highly produced is different. Like less polish on it is different. It can still be put together very well and not be of a high sheen.
Yeah, I kind of feel the opposite. Like, to me, I feel like lo-fi is a sound that you go for when you do have elements like that, but you're just producing it on like older equipment. And to me, I thought of this earlier today. I was like, I don't know if I'd call some of this black. Lo-fi is the term that they use, but like, to me, raw means like we didn't process any of this. This is just straight into a microphone and straight into like a mic'd cabinet and onto tape or what have you. And lo-fi to me seems to be more of a like we recorded it the way you're supposed to, but it might have still been on magnetic tape or something like that. Sure. And maybe not the most expensive thing, but like we recorded it. We isolated our tracks in different rooms or whatever, and we multi-tracked the way that you can, because you can multi-track on a tape machine.
Oh yeah, like a 4-track recorder.
Yeah, and so like we did that. We just didn't. It just wasn't super crisp and clear.
Sure.
That's kind of what that means to me. Like, to me, lo-fi is a sound and raw is a condition. If that makes any sense.
I get you. I think we're just backwards on our terms. Is all we're saying. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah. It's just one means. I don't know. I'm just spinning my wheels here.
That's all right.
I'm just spinning my wheels. So this album specifically came out in 2011. I think earlier I said it came out in 2012. It came out in 2011. It received from AllMusic 4.5 stars. Pitchfork gave it a 7.6 out of 10, which
not
from
bad.
Pitchfork isn't terrible because they're kind of picky. There's not really a lot of info about the album on Wikipedia. I thought maybe there'd be more buzz about it, but not necessarily. So interesting things about this album. I didn't have it up on Spotify because I'm a dingbat.
I love the intro. The intro to this is just intense.
Oh yeah.
I actually got lockjaw listening to the intro to this.
And it's like the intro is 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
Right.
That is by an extremely wide margin the shortest track of any sort on the record.
Right, but it's the intro.
Yeah, it's the intro, of course. It might as well have been a part of the first song instead of just as the intro, because the rest of these songs, the middle 1, 2, 3, 4, the middle 4 songs on this record are all at least 12 minutes long. These are long ass, almost like the way a post rock song is. These songs almost have movements in them. They're long ass songs.
Indeed.
And they don't really wear on you, or at least they didn't wear on me.
No.
There are some times when I'm listening to metal where if it is high speed, high intensity metal,
you have to be in the mood.
Yeah, and a song comes on and it sticks around for 12 minutes. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, can this just be over with? Start doing something different. But this one doesn't really do that. Maybe it's just a feature of black metal that it doesn't really outstay its welcome the way that like a 12-minute long prog song might.
Yeah, because a lot of 12-minute prog songs, they try to do so many different things, and it becomes disjointed after it's regular 7-8 minute runtime
for a prog. Yeah, that's regular.
Well, man, you're stretching it now. This could have been another song.
Like, I'm thinking of things that wear on me, and I'm starting to think of even there are some 5-minute long death metal songs that start to wear on me a little bit, or like deathcore songs.
Sure.
I was trying to listen to Slice the Cake the other day.
Okay.
Which, if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you know that Odyssey to the West is an album that I really used to love, and then just over time, it's just kind of soured on me. I don't know if I just listened to it way too much, but recently I haven't. Like over the last probably 7 months, I've let that album cool, and I came back and started listening to it a little bit more again, and I just can't do it. I can't sit through a whole song anymore. Not that they're not super long. Some of them are like 7 minutes, but some of them are 5. But I just can't sit through it anymore. And it's this super long theatrical album. The album itself there's a 30-minute long intro basically, and then there is the hour-long album, and I can't do it anymore. Not since I listened to Rivers of Nile, which gave me the same feeling, but in a more concise package.
Short and to the point.
It was shorter. It was more to the point. It condensed a lot of the same emotions, and it also came from a band that didn't like break up and kind of have some questionable legal things that happened as part of that breakup. Because I don't know if this is a story I've told to you. If you, the listener, haven't heard about Slice the Cake before, they spent like 3 or 4 years working on another album. They had a composer that they were working with. They basically had a lot of it done. It was like completely done. Everything was tracked. Everything was written and composed and put together. The composer just didn't want to put it out. Didn't feel good about it. He's like, most of it was his work basically. Sure. He was the primary writer and all of that. And
then legal battles ensued.
Legal battles didn't really ensue. I don't think he ever actually sued. But what happened was the vocalist and the guitarist released the album on their own on April Fool's that year without asking him. And so it was like, these are also my recordings. I also own the rights to these, and I did not consent to have these released. But the composer also ultimately said, hey, you know what? It's out, and I hear you guys like it, so I'm happy you guys like it. I wanted something different for this work. He wanted to take those compositions that he wrote and use them for something else.
Not for this band.
Yeah, and so like ever since I learned that, it kind of soured on me. I haven't been talking about Krallice, have I?
That's fine. We do that.
I do that. There's not a lot of songs on the album besides the intro for Diotima that really stick out to me.
Right.
It's just kind of like they kind of blend together, but each of them actually has something specific going on. Like it seems like song by song, Mick Barr chooses a different vocal style almost. Like on Inhume, which is the first track, he's using a fairly deep and guttural death growl,
right,
instead of your typical more high and grating and kind of shrieky black metal vocal. which not saying any of those is negative. That's just the way they are.
That's just how it is.
That's just how black metal vocals typically are. And more rarely do you hear like a death growl in black metal. It's usually higher. And yeah, he uses that pretty much exclusively during the first full track. But then you do hear more shrill howls and screams and whatnot. Nothing I would really call a shriek, but you do hear more typical like black metal vocals. And then you hear the death growl again. So he everything is varied. Again, this album doesn't wear on you.
No.
It's not, it doesn't grind you down like maybe Mayhem does.
Well, yeah, that's the vocals on Mayhem.
Yeah, they don't, it doesn't, they're never bothersome, I feel. It's just good stuff.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. I don't know. I kind of ran out of steam on this.
Have you not listened to any of their other work?
Not so much. I listened to, I think, a little bit of one of their more recent releases. I think it was Krallice. I listened to a little bit, and it was fine. I should have listened to more of it.
Probably.
Kind of went into this episode thinking I knew what I was going to talk about. Didn't end up that way.
That's fine.
It happens. It happens. So, yeah.
Once again, I enjoyed the album. Like I said, I got new headphones, and this is sort of...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you want to talk about your headphone issue?
Well, yeah, maybe somebody will know the answer to this. What happened? I have Bluetooth headphones. I listen to everything on Bluetooth headphones because I like to thrash around while I do dishes or
move
do
around
housework.
without getting a cord caught on something.
Right.
The amount of times that I've had my headphone cords caught on stuff is infuriating.
But plus, I don't have a headphone jack on my phone.
Oh, yeah, because you got the iPhone. Stupid. I have a headphone jack on my phone because I have a Samsung.
So anyway, yeah, so my...
Just cradling my S9 over here.
And not his phone. So the left ear went out on my Bluetooth headphones, and I don't know why. I couldn't figure it out, and I wasn't about to pry into it because I don't know anything about nanotechnology or any of the bullshit that goes into putting those together. So
what do you mean you're not a nano electrician?
I am not a nano electrician.
Is nano electrician a band name? Could that be a band name?
Well, we'll have to write that down.
Maybe sometime. If you ask me, I say shit just broke.
Shit broke. Done. Throw it away. So
Shitter's broke.
I should have. Sorry, Clark. So I went and I bought some Skull candies.
Okay, and you like those?
I really enjoy them. I like the sound, the depth, and I really kind of broke them in with this album.
Nice.
And it sounded really good.
I've been looking at getting a new pair of Sennheisers forever and ever and ever because I've got the ones I'm wearing right now. I've had for about 4 years, and they're just kind of like a basic model. And I've been looking at getting a more expensive, like $100 one for a long time, but I haven't.
You haven't.
I haven't done yet. But I like headphones. Although I think it's something our boss told me a while ago, where we were talking about headphones. And he was like, I've spent my entire adult working life wearing headphones. When I go home to listen to music, I don't want to put them on. It's like I want to listen through a good pair of speakers. And that's kind of how I'm starting to feel. Like when I'm at home, unless I'm playing a game or something, or it's very late at night, I don't wear headphones.
See, neither of you guys have small children.
That is a good point.
I know it makes me sound like a terrible father, but I got kids, and I'd love to blast the music, but I really can't because they've got the homework or
they need to be focusing on other things.
The shit that they whine about that they got going on.
Yeah,
and I don't want to interrupt any of that, so I put on my headphones and I play that loudly.
Yeah.
And by the way, I took off my head because they want to talk to me. They're like, "Daddy, pay attention to me."
Yeah.
And so I take my headphones off, and
you're not helping yourself.
No, I know I'm not raising my profile here, but and I'll have them around my collarbone here like that, and then I realized, oh my God, I am deaf because I'll hear loud black metal music coming at me that is like, wow, this is too loud to be around my neck.
Yeah. So it's just
I must be going deaf.
You've got a pair of head-mounted speakers at that point instead of headphones.
If I had turned them around, then I could have just shared the music with the family.
Yeah. I mean, you've been playing music and working in the audio industry for
decades.
So it happens. I have fairly acute hearing, so I do my best to preserve that. I've got concert headphones that I wear like a poser.
See, I used to have better. I could have been a member of the X-Men.
You had very acute hearing?
I did. I could hear. I had a friend who, when I worked at a truck stop, he had these asshole dogs. And
asshole dogs?
Asshole dogs. Name? He's maybe asshole dogs. Write it down.
I'm gonna get some paper here and start writing this shit down. You continue.
And he had these dogs, and he called these asshole dogs of mine. They keep digging under the fence, and they keep breaking all my shit and busting all, smoking all my weed, and these dogs of his. And so he bought this electronic dog whistle. Well, the dogs didn't care about the dog whistle. It didn't faze them for a moment. Me, it terrorized.
Oh my God.
He brought it to work, and I'd be over there washing dishes, and he'd be making omelets, and then he would just out of the blue, I'm going to flick this dog whistle, and then hear me go, shut it off! Enough! Please stop!
Oh God, that reminded me of in high school, where there was an app that came out around the time people were like,
oh, I remember that.
There's sounds that adults can't hear, and so people would just play that just high piercing note, and it's like, I don't give a shit that they can't hear it. This is fucking infuriating. I was that like, God, I hated that sort of shit. Like I was always of the opinion when I was in high school, because like I was a good kid.
Sure.
I guess I wasn't a good student, I'd say.
But you're a good kid.
I was a B and C student for the most part. I got plenty of A's, but like I'd call myself a B student average. But like I was a good kid. I didn't really act out in class or anything. But like people in my class would try and not get a rise out of the teachers. We weren't that sort of class that we were like, let's make this teacher cry today.
Sure.
We were never that sort of class, but it was like, what can we do to irritate this teacher or to get them off topic? And there were a couple of teachers where it was like, guys, it's not worth it to do this. Things will just go smoother and easier for us if we just all shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Like things will get done quicker and more efficiently if we just shut the fuck up. Like I feel like a lot of people prefer to go through college that way, and like I swear, if high schoolers went through high school with the same mindset that people tend to go through college, of just like, I'm going to keep my head down, I'm going to do my shit, I'm not going to argue or that sort of thing. I'm just going to be like, all right, yeah, I'm doing this sort of thing. Like that was my college experience anyway. It was just like, I'm not going to ruffle feathers. I'm just going to get my stuff done so I can get this over with.
Sure. If you'd just done that in high school,
yeah,
it'd have been way
if everyone
easier.
had just done that in high school, so much less stress.
Youth is wasted on the young.
I guess. I don't know how much I believe that, but it's like I feel like there's much easier ways to do it, and teenagers just don't get it. It's like, no, like when people are like, oh, high school was so easy. In retrospect, everything was so much easier in high school. But I give props to high schoolers, because it's like, from your perspective, this is the hardest shit you've done.
True.
Like, who gives a shit about hardships that are going to come in the future? Because hardship is relative. Like hardship and pain and all that stuff, that is relative to your own life experience. The image that always comes to my mind with that quote is like, there's a mother wolf that's got like 20 arrows in her, and there's baby wolf that's got one. It's like, that's pain is relative, okay? That baby wolf is still going through a lot of pain, but just because it's one arrow doesn't mean that's not valid. That it's not a valid point.
It's a baby wolf.
It's a fucking baby. It's a fucking baby wheel. It's a baby wheel. Sorry, that's an inside joke. I have a friend who always says there's a YouTube video of some fishermen who think they're seeing a baby whale when in fact it is a full-grown sunfish.
Right. It's a baby fucking whale.
It's a baby fucking whale. It's like, that's That doesn't look anything like a whale, you dipshit.
It's a sunfish.
That's a sunfish. They are one of the most unique looking creatures on the face of the planet.
They're big.
They are quite big. They're the heaviest bony fish in existence. They just don't look anything like a whale.
No.
Anyway. This has been a tangent. You been playing more Red Dead?
You know, I did. I sat down and I tried to play more Red Dead. I don't know why you said it like
you playing more
Red Dead.
You playing more fucking Red Dead out over there? More,
you know, more Rockstar games.
More that Yeehaw Skyrim.
I did, but you know, I haven't done any of the missions out of.
We talked about this morning.
I haven't had time.
You had like a what I will call a senior moment.
I did. I had a senior moment.
Like me trying to explain how to get to the quests to you this morning.
How do I get to the quests?
Who
do I talk to?
You go to the white dots with people's names in them.
I didn't see a white dot with a name.
It's like I've already been considering replaying Red Dead.
Just
and now it's like I feel like I should do it just so I know how to help you. It's like an IT professional that has to somehow recreate the environment of the person they're helping.
Did you try turning on and off the Red Dead Revolver 2? Red Dead Revolver? See, this is it.
They never made a Red Dead Revolver 2.
No, they did not.
That would be Red Dead Redemption 1, I suppose, is the closest thing to Red Dead Revolver 2.
Did you turn off the play box?
Have you turned off your
X
console?
Station?
The X Station, the play box, the Nintendo.
The Nintendo.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah. No, I haven't got past any into the things in the encampment.
Okay. Well, try.
I will get there. I'm sure I will. I mean, like I said, I have children and responsibilities and things like that.
Yeah. It's just, it astounded me that you were incapable of.
I don't know how to find quests. Who do I talk to?
Who do I talk to get the quest? They make it even easier than in like Skyrim, where it's like, get quests. I guess I'll just go talk to this random person over here.
Sure.
No, they tell you where the quests are.
They actually
have a map.
On the mini
They
map.
have an indicator that says this is a person that will give you stuff to do.
Whereas in Skyrim, you have to go field to far.
It's just like
far afield.
Maybe this person has something interesting going on.
Find my sword for me.
Please find my. I lost my father's sword. Hi, I'm Robin Atkin Downs. I do voices in video games. And this one, I voice kind of a Scottish lad who works for the Thieves Guild. I think Robin Atkin Downs might be one of my best voice actor impressions. That's a very niche impression.
Robin Atkin Downs.
That's a very niche impression to do, is an impression of a voice actor, a profession that is known for doing impressions.
Exactly.
Hi.
Very broad.
I'm Robin Atkin Downs. I'm voicing Kazuhira Miller in Metal Gear Solid 5. Boss, I can still feel it. My leg. Every night.
I told you about being at the fair and talking to my daughter, and she said, "What, Dad? What's going on at the fair today?" And I had the pamphlet, and it was behind an old couple who were waiting in line. I said, "Well, it looks like today there's going to be Daryl's Racing Pigs happening at 1 p.m. We can get down there. We can get into the ice cream tasting contest." And
was this on the last day when I was working?
It might have been, yeah.
Okay.
And then I had this old couple in front of me going, "It sounds like the radio is telling us about the fair."
I mean,
yeah,
technically,
it kind of was
in a roundabout way.
We can go see the Flying Dog Show at 2:30 this afternoon. Stay tuned.
I've always wanted to do more like announcing work. I had an opportunity to announce volleyball once when I was in college, and I didn't do it simply because I don't know anything about volleyball.
Right.
There were a couple of times where they're like, "Hey, do you want to help announce this thing?" It's just, you read names and maybe, call a few things. And it's like, I don't think I can even be relied on to do that.
They come to us, by the way, occasionally, and they'll get us to do monster trucks.
Oh,
just so you know.
I would love to do that, but I feel like I would completely wreck my voice.
Oh, and you do. I remember Big Mike used to do it, and he'd come back the next day. First of all, you're doing this, into a microphone for hours upon hours, and you're doing it in just the fumes of rocket fuel.
Yeah,
you can't be
rocket
ready to pass
fuel
out
and
anyway.
Dust and smog indoors.
And here comes Bigfoot.
Where do they do it in Minot?
At the All Seasons Arena.
So do they do it inside in Minot? Because I was going to say, because the only monster truck show that I've been to was in the Bismarck Civic Center.
Yep. Yeah,
which is also indoor.
They do it at the fairgrounds. And
which, to me, is like, one, I get it. You want to make sure this show goes off, and you don't want to have it outdoors in case of inclement weather.
Sure.
But on the other hand, all of these gigantic fucking gas guzzlers inside.
Yeah, and that's often aviation fuel or alcohol that they're burning.
Yeah, like pure ethanol or like fucking kerosene basically is what jet fuel is. Like that's what you want to do. Okay.
Yep.
Granted, these buildings have massive air handlers in them, but still.
Can somebody open a window?
I'm about to die.
I don't know math anymore.
It's Gravedigger. One just for me. Tell my family I love them.
And by the way, just so you know, by the way, have them suggest how much you want to be paid.
Really?
Because
it will always be more?
It's always going to be more than you thought you could get for it.
I suppose.
If you're listening right now and you run them out, don't listen. But yeah, he said, yeah, just cool. It's only one night. Just give me, $200. You're like, yeah, $200? Hell yeah. He's like, oh, shit.
How much were they going to pay me? Fuck. I could have gotten 1,600 fucking bucks out of this.
He only was $200. What a weirdo. All right, here you go.
Like, that is the thing, is like outside of my day job, like freelance stuff, I have no idea what my time is worth.
Oh yeah, they were gonna pay us $5 a shot to do TV commercials.
Really?
Yeah, when we first started out when we opened the radio stations,
$5.
We'll give you $5. You want to do a 30-second TV commercial for us? Happy to do it. And then because I knew the guy who did TV production, who was in charge of that. And I went to J&G and I said, what do you think about that? What do you think about us doing that? And, my little naive, I'm happy to be working in broadcasting again. And they said, yeah, do not demean yourself to work for $5 a shot.
That's, when was this, by the way?
This was back in 2005.
Yeah, because like that, even in 2005 money.
Even by 2005 money.
That's not much.
Back when we was working for doubloons.
It's like, I'm trying to think. If I consider, if I consider like doing 30-second spots, half of my job, and then I think about like the average on a good day, how many spots I would do, which is probably 3.
Sure,
it's about 3 30-second spots a day, and that's half my day. Like that's like $50, probably, not that much. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how much I would make a day, and I can't do that math in my head.
Are they paying you $70,000 yet?
Yeah, they're paying me $70,000 a year right out of college. No,
you mean they're not?
What are you getting paid?
Nothing. No. I get paid.
They just gave me a nickel and a stick of gum.
Here you go.
Get yourself something nice, and this is one for the road. They just gave me some hard candy.
Never go, by the way, anytime, and it will happen, hopefully it'll happen where they'll come to you, and the powers that be will say, yeah, that's fine, use our equipment, as long as you don't do it during work hours. Okay. And you can use their equipment. Never charge less than $25.
Yeah, that's probably a decent standard.
Yeah.
I did a basically, it wasn't 30 seconds. It was like 15 minutes. I did a voiceover for the art museum a couple of years ago that I recorded on my basic equipment. Same board that I have now, but I had my SM7 plugged into it. And I did that with in conjunction with my friend Matt, who was I was doing the voiceover for the video that they were doing. It was just about the history of the art museum in town.
Sure.
And I got paid, I think, $90 for that.
Really? Only $90 for 15 minutes?
I mean, it wasn't like it was the biggest, most difficult production. Sure. They had a script and they had everything, and for me, it was just a matter. Not to say that I didn't try, but like I spent probably a total of 3 hours on it.
Right.
Which is like, if I'm getting paid by the hour, $90 for 3 hours is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
That you didn't have to use any raw material.
Yeah, I didn't have to use any raw material. I already had the equipment. So
yeah, I remember my dad came and asked me to do the the announcement for the airport.
Really?
He was the head of the TSA here, and he said,
"Okay,
would you be willing to do this?" And I said, "How much are you going to pay?" He said, "You're my
I don't
son.
know. You're my son. Please,
Can you just do this?" And so you go to the airport. And, thank you for flying in Minot International Airport. Please have your passport ready, or whatever. I don't remember what I said, but it was this long spiel.
Something like that, yeah.
Take off your shoes and your underwear and have them ready for TSA inspectors.
Please remove any girdles or...
Please remove any firearms and narcotics from your luggage.
Make sure to snort your 8-ball before you pass through TSA screening.
Do not hide your weed in a gun.
Oh, shit, where am I going to hide this weed? I know, in my firearm. If you have drugs up your ass, please know that TSA agents reserve the right to head up in there after it. Have a nice day.
Why does that TSA agent have a straw? Oh, yeah. All right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So how much did you get paid for that?
No, nothing. I got nothing, yeah.
You just kind of... Just did one take.
Did one take. I recorded it and gave it to my dad on a CD, and there you go. I was just proud to be on the airport overhead.
I mean, I'd do that. That's like some Mass Effect shit when you walk into the shop and they're like, "Hey, Commander Shepard, can you record a quick blurb for us, and we'll give you a discount on all our stuff?" And it's usually like a gun shop or something like that, and it's like, "I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel." Pretty much by the end of the game, that jingle rings in every single store on the Citadel.
I'm Commander Shepard.
Every single shop becomes Commander Shepard's favorite shop on the Citadel. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite shop on the Citadel. You big, stupid jellyfish. Now I just want to do my best, my favorite Mass Effect quotes. God, I love those games, or at least the first 3. I never played the most recent one.
I told you video games were going to be a part of this.
Yeah. Well, that's what we talk about when we run out of banned material to talk about. I thought I was going to have more with Krallice. They're good shit.
It is good.
It's good stuff. I think it's a good entry level for black metal, in the sense that if you like other kinds of extreme metal, I think this sort of black metal band is easier to get into than, say, your Mayhems or your Burzums or what have you. Like, I think something like this, because I think Krallice has a lot more crossover appeal with other types of metal than more cult black metal bands.
Right.
Like, this is more of an art project than it is like a scene black metal band.
Sure.
Like, this is just, hey, we're making something progressive and heavy and technical, and we want it to be black metal.
It's not as image-oriented as other black metal, but...
Yeah, and these guys don't perform in corpse paint. They don't.
No.
It's just like they're a band, and the black metal is their sound. It's not their scene, I think is maybe the best way. Although I don't know who they usually tour with and perform with. Maybe they do tour on black metal bills, but like... It's a step above like Death Heaven, where they have black metal elements, but by no means would I consider Death Heaven a black metal band.
Even though you do Google black metal and Death Heaven does come up.
Yeah, but that's Google's fault.
Yeah, because Slayer also comes up.
Yeah, because also Google's fault, because they don't Google. You can't trust Google to understand metal. Okay,
No.
You can't trust that. You can't trust that Google for nothing. I was looking for corn, and they gave me some scary metal band that were worshiping the Satans.
We looking for corn with the C and a K.
I was looking. I might have misspelled it. I love doing old man voices.
Them kids going down the street listening to that corn biscuit music, and then
Corn biscuit.
Anyway. So
I don't know. Next week, yeah. It's you next week. What are you doing? What are you?
Next week, what are you doing?
What are you doing next week?
What are you doing?
What are you gonna bring next week to get us back on track?
Oh Christ! What are you doing next week?
What the fuck are you doing next week? Hey Joey, what are you doing next week, huh?
You know what I'm doing? I'm doing this big old fucking baby whale over here.
All right. What are you bringing?
I'm bringing Dimmu Borgir.
Okay, Dimmu. See, we'll have something to talk about.
That's black metal.
It's black metal, and Dimmu Borgir is a very colorful band.
Very colorful.
I mean, it's mostly black and white, but they manage to be very colorful
at the same time.
At the same time, they have a very colorful discography and a very large stage presence and very interesting sound. Mm-hmm. Not that Krallice wasn't interesting or significant, but Dimmu Borgir is just one of those bands where there's going to be a lot to talk about.
There will be.
They're a lot to take in. They're a lot of fun.
They've been around for a long time.
They've been around for a while, so we won't run out of material 20 minutes in next week. I'm sorry about that, guys. Listeners out there.
It's fine.
But hey, you ain't paying for this shit, so shut the fuck up.
And if you do want to pay for
But if you do want to pay for this shit, we promise we'll get our shit together. If you're a business or a person,
you want us to mention your business or person, give us some money.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be much.
Give us money, motherfuckers.
We're not even drunk. That's the weird thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been tired today.
Yeah, me too.
I had a weird day yesterday where at like 2:00 I started having a coughing fit. And then once I was done with that coughing fit, I just felt really weird for like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Like I felt really light, and like my arms felt floaty, and
maybe you were sick for a brief period there.
I just, other than feeling physically kind of weird, I didn't feel sick. I didn't have a headache or a temperature or anything. It was just like my arms feel weird, like my hands felt kind of numb. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck the deal was, but it was annoying, and I was having trouble collecting my thoughts, but that's not really anything new. It was just more significant than it typically is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was strange. And then today I was just lethargic as usual, but then I got a headache a couple hours, and headache's gone away, but probably because I ate.
That's good. You should eat.
Yeah.
Are you eating? You should eat.
Have you been eating much, honey? Grandma, you know I have. I came from Mom's house.
Come here.
I've got some food for you. Holy shit, Grandma, that's a 4-course meal. Oh, it's nothing. It just whipped something I whipped up. Just something I whipped up.
Come sit in Grandma's lap.
So many voices today.
I know.
So many voices today.
Stormblast, by the way, is the album.
Stormblast by Dimmu Borgir. Next week is what we've got.
Stormblast. It's very. I was going to say aromatic. It's very atmospheric.
Okay.
Yeah, it smells good.
It's
a good smelling album.
I feel like black metal. If black metal had a smell, it wouldn't be good.
I don't know. It would be patchouli. That's one thing. It would be
something like that. I think it depends on the album. Maybe like your Burzums would be like an earthy, an earthy woodsy smell.
Sure.
But I think like Mayhem would be, some sort of rotting carcass.
It would be.
Lots of sulfur too, probably, and Mayhem and like Gorgoroth especially. I think sulfur.
Sulfur. What's the other word for sulfur?
Brimstone.
Brimstone. Thank you.
Okay.
Brimstone.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the sponsor thing already. So there you go. If you're interested in sharing us with your friends, if you would be so kind, we're on your social medias. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can retweet. You can share. You can do all that sort of stuff and let your friends know about us. We'd appreciate it. You don't have to do it, but it'd make us feel warm and fuzzy inside.
That's what you're doing. You're making someone else feel good.
Yeah.
We can tell when you did it too. When you click that mouse, we're going, ooh.
Yeah, it's
tingly.
Nice when you make us feel good.
You're making us tingle.
You're making me all tingly down there. And by down there, I mean my heart.
Uh-huh.
Also my junk.
Okay. All right.
What the fuck happened tonight?
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Bronze Medalist podcast. I don't know why you did this week. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.